So this part is about layers, and I would say this is the most important part of Procreate. So from here you can see the layers I have, for example, for this drawing, and I'm going to explain how to work with layers, and I'm going to introduce two very useful effects in the layers that you could use, and it would change your life in drawing and illustrating. So select a layer and you can create another layer on the top of that one, and just click on it. It shows different options. One of the options is clipping mask, and I'm going to show you how to work with clipping mask exactly. So when you select clipping mask, basically you can choose any color and you can start drawing on this one, and it wouldn't go outside of the layer you have below this layer. So it doesn't matter where your pen goes, it's still in this layer, and that's how you can create texture, and you don't have to be worried about if you go out of lines. Isn't that cool? So easy and so effective. And this layer, it only syncs with this one, and you can also like merge it down if your file is finalized, and you can have like one file only. Or I just undo this one. The good point about this one is if you didn't like that, you can just delete it and you still have the main layer you have at the beginning. There is another option in layer, and it's mask. For this one I'm going to create a mask, and as you can see there is another layer at the top of this one, and I just select the black color, because in the mask, if you want to do the highest effect, you do black color, and then if you want to do the lowest effect, you do a bit less black. For example, I choose this gray, and you can see the effect on that one. And like the previous one I showed you, it doesn't affect the main layer you have, and that's really cool because you can do so many stuff in this one without affecting the layer below. And if you want, for example, wipe the lines you did, you just use the color white and go on top of the drawings you've had. And I just add a bit of more paint here, and then using gray, I just use like a bit lower effect here. And another cool thing that I work with is you can actually invert the color and see what happens here. So it actually inverts what you've done to another layer, and sometimes it's very helpful when you use this option. And if you don't like it, like last time, you can just swipe it to left and delete your layer, as easy as this one. So in this session I'm going to talk about layer effect and opacity and how to blend layers together. I imported a couple of other layers in this photo to show how you can play with layers. So as you can see, like each of these plants, they have their own layer, and in the right side you can see the word N, and here you can play with different type of layers you have. If you keep looking at the plants we have, you will see the effect. So when I change to different options, you get different effects on these layers. And one of the use of this thing is, for example, if you have a texture or something, as you can see, you can show the texture of the layers below by changing these ones like this. And on this one, for example, see how it affects the layer to the below one, and it changes all the layers here, which is very helpful. And then you can change the opacity of this one. So if I change this one to normal, and then from here you can see the opacity of the layers you can change here. In this session, we are going to draw some lines, create some shapes, and I'm going to show you how to make straight lines in Procreate. So if we choose a brush and pick a color, you can draw lines in Procreate, but it may not be a perfect line. There is a way to do perfect lines in Procreate. So I undo this one, and you can just draw a line and keep pushing with your pen, and Procreate make it straight for you. So for example, you do another shape like this, and then just hold your pen and it make it straight for you. We can do another line, of course, hold the pen and it make it straight for you. This isn't limited just for lines. You can also create shapes. So you can create a circle. It's not perfect, but just hold your pen, and then the option edit shape activates, which you can choose between circle and ellipse, and everything you choose, it changes the shape of the circle for you. So you can still edit it, and while you have this option activated, you can change it to circle or ellipse. You can also do that with square. So I'm going to draw a square and hold my pen, and the option activates edit shape, and you could choose between rectangle, square, or just polyline, which you can edit as a polyline. I still have the option active. I go back to a square and I change the shape to a square. Then is another option in drawing in Procreate, and that is on the canvas part is the drawing guide. So you need to activate the guide first, and then you can go to edit drawing guide to see the different options. The first option is 2D, and it gives you the line that you can change the opacity of the line, the thickness, the size, and the color. Here you need to activate the assist drawing here and press done. Now you have a layer that you can now draw between the squares. You won't be able to do the freehanding, as you can see. It only allows me to do a straight line here. But as soon as you create a new layer, you would be able to do the freehand one. Let's try the other layers. So I'm creating a new layer, go back to drawing guide, go back to edit drawing, and this time I choose the next option. change the opacity, change the thickness, and I'll make the size a bit bigger, and I'll make it red. Turn the assisted drawing on and press OK. So here now, again, you won't be able to do the freehanding. Whatever you do, it changes it between the lines. But I found this one very helpful to draw like 3D shapes like this. And then you can color it, of course. And once again, if you create a new layer, you would be able to do the freehand drawing. Let's delete this layer, create a new one, and test the other drawing on. Perspective. This part could be your favorite if you're doing lots of drawing here. So turn the perspective on and turn the assisted drawing on, press done. This is great for drawing cities or buildings because it beautifully shows you how to do the buildings and how like street works in a perspective way. Let's delete this level, go back to edit drawing, and the next one is the one I personally use a lot, creating canvas and other things. This part, there is an option key that you can click and it gives you 4 options. Vertical, you can choose and press done, and I'll show how to use that one. So you can just like make faces on this one or different shapes, and you can even color them, and whatever you do on one side it duplicates on the other side. So that's one of the options here. Deleting the layer, creating new one, go back to edit drawing, and from the option go with the horizontal one. And I think you can guess what this line does. It duplicates the layer and you can draw so many creative things with this one. You can also color them. Let's create another level. Go back to drawing, go back to option, and choose the last one. Press done. With this one you can create so many cool things and you can paint them. It's a great way to play with. And you can't miss drawing beautiful things with this layer because it's just so easy and beautiful. And you can paint them. So these were the tools you can use in layers in the canvas part, and you can create masterpiece with your iPad and Apple Pen.